Hello, everyone, and welcome to what we call here Good Guy, Bad Guy podcast. I'm Ron Poniewasz, Newcastle News sports editor, and I'm joined by Larry Kelly, a member of the Luxembourg, Arbit, Kelly & George law firm. He's a man of many hats. Right now, he's an assistant baseball coach at Penn State Shenango. You probably remember him as the varsity head coach for Shenango baseball.
The Whippeal champion varsity head coach. Make sure you get that right, Poniewasz. Listen, I don't got many championships to my name, but I do have that one.
Yeah, well, you notice he's got a right hand, and it's a wonder that it's never broken because he pats himself on the back.
No. I'm not patting myself on the back. I just want to make sure if you're going to introduce me, let's get it right.
Yeah, well, I figure I'll let you do it because you know what you want to say. But this is our Good Guy, Bad Guy podcast, and what we do is, Larry, he doesn't wear a hat per se, so he doesn't have a white hat. He's always got the white hat because he's got the white hair, so that's his white hat. It goes with him everywhere he goes.
Well, it's like in the old cowboy movies, the good guys wore white hats and the bad guys wore black hats. So I'm a white hat guy, so everybody knows that the good guy in Good Guy, Bad Guy sports, well, you're looking at him, and the bad guy, it's quite obvious. The bad guy is the only guy in Western Pennsylvania that would wear New England Patriots gear. It's the only guy that would do that. Yeah, everybody else would have Steeler gear on, but that's why you're the bad guy, and that's why you play the role so well.
And we talk sports, national sports, from any level, college, pro. It could be any in any venue too, or any type of sport: football, basketball, baseball, you name it. So that's our itinerary, and this week we're going to have three topics. We're going to talk a little bit about Pitt football and basketball. We're also going to talk about the Hall of Fame and for Pro Football Hall of Fame. And as Larry mentioned, the New England Patriots are in Super Bowl 60 against the Seattle Seahawks. So we'll talk about that as well. But first off, and our first topic is going to be Pitt football and basketball. First off with football, the athletic department announced, I believe last week, that they're going to close off a big section of seats, kind of like Three Rivers Stadium used to do with the Pittsburgh Pirates. So they're going to just not make it available for fans to buy. But as you know, there's a lot of fans disguised as yellow seats at Acrisure Stadium.
Well, it's probably a good move. Listen, you go back in Pitt's history, they might average 40,000 a game. And when you're sitting in a stadium that holds almost 70,000 people and 30,000 seats are empty, it's a bad look. And it doesn't create a good game day atmosphere. And look, unless Notre Dame's coming to town, Penn State or West Virginia, 40,000 about is all Pitt can hope for. Now, of course, if they become Indiana, the Hoosiers, then maybe that changes. But right now, I think that's a good move. You tell me.
Yeah, I don't think you have much choice because they're going to be vacant seats anyways. But have you ever, in your time, did you ever go to any games at Old Pitt Stadium?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm an old guy, Ronnie. I've sat on those wooden bleachers at Pitt Stadium many a night.
Yeah, I went once, and obviously I'm a West Virginia fan. I used to have West Virginia season tickets with my dad from 1989, the year after they appeared in the national championship against Notre Dame, through 2015 or so, somewhere around there. That's a rough estimation. One time I went to Pitt Stadium, and that was to see West Virginia against Pitt. And a lot of people, when I say the game, that they'll get a chuckle and they'll know exactly which game I'm talking about. It was known as the EIEIO game.
I was there.
Okay.
I was there. I actually thought that was funny, but the poor guy got fired for that move. But I really thought it was funny.
Yeah, well, I was there too, and West Virginia blew a big lead, and Pitt scored late in the game with maybe a half minute to go, 45 seconds, somewhere around there. And I believe the quarterback was Chad Johnston. He threw about a 75 or 80-yard touchdown pass to Zach Abraham down the right sideline. And when I tell you, I was standing on the bleachers and giving double birds to the press box and saying everything you can imagine. But the thing was, the reason I'm mentioning that game, I was on YouTube the other night, and I'm not sure for what reason, maybe to look at old podcasts of us or see if what we've done has been posted on our YouTube channel. And I saw a link to 1980 Pitt football hosting Syracuse. and Frank Broyles was the announcer, the color analyst, and I believe Al Michaels might have been the play-by-play guy. And don't you know, there's a sparse crowd. And when you're on social media or on Twitter and people are saying, boy, I wish Pitt would get out of an NFL stadium and build their own stadium. They used to pack the stadium to the gills. Okay, well, they had Dan Marino. You might have heard of Dan Marino. They had Hugh Green, I believe. And you're sitting there looking at it saying, look at all those empty seats. And it was a sunny day, but they'll pack the stadium. You tell yourself that. I just don't think that Pitt's the draw that people think they are.
No, they're definitely not. I'm looking at their average attendance from 21 to 25. In 21, it was 41,000, 22, 54, 23, 47, 24, 53, and 25, 51,000. And I believe those are tickets sold, Ronnie. Those aren't actually fans in the seats, because I've been to a boatload of Pitt games, and I can tell you that I'm not certain there were 54,000 people sitting in the stands. And again, the only time they sell a place out is when they're playing West Virginia, because they bring an entourage, Penn State or Notre Dame. And when they bring Penn State and Notre Dame, there are more Penn State and Notre Dame fans there than Pitt fans. So it is what it is. You know, the average attendance ranges between 40 and 50,000. It's a 70,000 seat stadium. I think 68 and change. Cover the seats up, because unless you start winning and winning at a high level, it is not going to change. And Pitt hasn't won at a high level, let me get this right, since the Reagan administration. And I mean that literally. Like 81, 82 was like the last time Pitt had 10-win seasons. So we're talking over 40. Ronald Reagan was the president in 1980. Look it up. So it is what it is. They're a pedestrian average football program, and they draw pedestrian average crowds.
And if you're joining us for the first time, either on Tip Off or Gridiron or Good Guy, Bad Guy Sports, you've seen us enough to know that the world ended after the Reagan administration, according to Larry Kelly.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, it seems like every reference point I have, Pitt football, 80, 81, 82, cuz was the last time we had 10-win seasons. And Ronald Reagan was the president. I was in law school. I remember that. So the fact of the matter is, they're pedestrian, they're average, and quite frankly, they ought to be happy they get somewhere between 40 and 50,000 people come in and watch 7-5 every year. I mean, it is what it is. Now, maybe with NIL, it could change, but it's all about the cash now. You better be generating a lot of money. And if you do, then maybe you can, and you get the right people running the program, then maybe you can become Indiana University.
And the strange part about it is Pitt football ranks right up there in terms of other schools with Pro Football Hall of Famers. I think when Aaron Donald goes in a couple years, and Larry Fitzgerald, I believe, he's not already in, right? Those two.
No, those two will be in though. Right. I think Larry may be up next or eligible next year.
Right. That would push Pitt to like 13 or 12 Hall of Famers from the school. And I think the leading school is like 14. So there
might be Notre Dame. Yeah, I mean, look, Pitt has 10 people in the Pro Football Hall of Fame right now, and is about to go up 2 more. Yeah. I would agree with you. But look, Ronnie, the football program is pedestrian. It just is. I mean, 7-5, bro. I mean, in the last 20 years, we did win an ACC championship, and that was exciting because I'm a Pitt fan. I sent 4 daughters there. But 7-5, bro. Can you say it?
7-5, bro. I can say it.
That's about what they are every year. And Pitt basketball, listen, that was the hottest ticket in town. Me and my dear friend David Moses, we held Pitt basketball season tickets from when they opened the Peterson Event Center. I want to say back in 2001. When I tell you that was the hottest ticket in town, I've seen some of the greatest college basketball games I've ever seen under Ben Howland and Jamie Dixon. And I was at one game this year. And the place was empty. There's no atmosphere. Even the Oakland Zoo has a hard time getting excited. I think their record is 8-13, and it's not going to get much better. But it's about players, and today you need money. It's all about money. I mean, they're trying to raise it. I could tell you a story where, I have a dear friend who sat in one of the premier seats uh, at the Peterson, and they told him if he wanted to retain that seat, he'd have to pay $850,000 to retain that seat because they want to use it for NIL. And I kind of got involved in that, and he certainly didn't pay $850. And I called the guy from Pitt. I said, "Am I reading this wrong? You mean 8,500?" "No, I mean 850,000." I said, "Well, your team stinks. How do you expect anybody to pay $850,000 to watch a team that has made the tournament one time in 10 years?" So I'm not even so sure I can call Pitt basketball pedestrian at this point. They're below that, and it's a shame.
Yeah, 9-13 going into road game against Virginia as we film this on Tuesday. I didn't realize, Larry, you should have told me Elon Musk apparently is a Pitt fan. 850,000 because he's like the only one that could afford 850 grand.
Well, I can tell you somebody paid it because somebody's sitting in those seats. I can tell you somebody paid it, but my buddy had a good lawyer, and we were able to get out from under that. Yeah. But that's what they're looking for. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for that kind of money. And again, it's all about buying players. Jalen Lowe, who played at Pitt last year and went to Kentucky, I got it from the horse's mouth that he was getting $500,000 a year to play basketball at Pitt. He went to Kentucky. So how much you think they paid him?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, something got to be done. You're a free agent every year.
Yeah,
that's better than the NFL. I'm going to play at Pitt this year for $500,000. Kentucky wants me next year. They're going to give me $1 million. And then if I have a really good year, maybe I can go to Arkansas for $2 million. I mean, that's just the way it's going right now. And you can leave every year. You're a free agent.
It's the wild, wild west, and it's not getting any better. And that's the thing about the Pro Football Hall of Fame in relation to Pitt. As we mentioned, there's 10 in there now. It's going to go up to 12. And this might be the last true, I guess the way you would want to look at it, the last true class in terms of how you could count people, because those 10 players that have went in from Pitt, you got Hugh Green, Dan Marino, Curtis Martin, that's just 3. They played at Pitt. They played at Pitt. They played at Pitt. Nowhere else. Now you've got players that.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah. So, and how do you count it? Because like West Virginia basketball a couple of years ago had a guy, Eric Stevenson, I believe it was, last year of Bob Huggins' tenure. He played at West Virginia as a senior. But as a freshman, he played here, and then he went here as a sophomore, and he went here as a junior. He played 4 different places. It's like pick a school and play for it. And I don't know how you determine that. In several years from now, do you say, well, so and so played at Pitt, he's a Pitt guy? Well, no, he played at Texas Tech. Well, yeah, he also played at Oregon. And no, don't forget, he played at Southern Cal too. How do you?
Yeah. What jersey does he wear when he goes into the Hall of Fame? I have to stand corrected here. I just checked Pitt's football record. They did win 10 games in 2009. They did win 10 games. The last time before that they won 10 games was 1981. And yes, Ronald Reagan was the president. They were 11-1 in 1981. So, Pitt football again. 8-5, 7-6, 3-9, 9-4. I'm sorry. In 2021, they won 11 games. That's when they were ACC champs. So they did win 10 games twice in the last, it looks like 17 years. Right. So they won 10 games. They won 11 games in 2021, and they won 10 games in 2009. So other than that, the records are 6-5, 8-5, 7-7, 5-7, 8-5, 8-5, 6-7. So It's all about money now, Ronnie. It's all about money. You better have the cash to, or you don't get the players. I read this. The average starting quarterback in a Power Four conference, his NIL deal's $2 million. That's the going rate. And then you have Arch Manning, I think, is maybe at $5 million. And there's another one at $4 million. I think Carson Beck might have been $3 million, his NIL deal. So yeah, it's high stakes now, and you better have the cash in your program, or you're not going to win.
Right.
And again, Pitt they are who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Who was it? Bill Belichick that says, or no, was it not Belichick? It was the former coach for the Giants, Bill Parcells.
Yes.
He said, "You are who your records say you are."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
You are who your records say you are. So,
okay. That is our Pitt football and basketball discussion. Don't go away, because we're going to talk about the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Larry's going to have a little bit of homework assignment. I'm going to give him some figures. We'll talk about the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And then when we get done with that, before we close up that segment, I will reveal who the individual A and individual B is. And we'll see if he feels that either one of them are Hall of Famers currently, should be in the Hall of Fame, or have no case for the Hall of Fame. So don't go away. Okay, that should be fun. All right. Well, I am good when you're good.
let's do it.
Okay. In 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're back with you here on Good Guy, Bad Guy Sports. The bad guy. That's
wearing the Patriots outfit, the Patriots gear. Really? What do you want to do? Just agitate all of the people who watch this podcast in Western Pennsylvania? Is that what you? Well, it's good for ratings. Maybe we should have you at a carnival where they can throw things at you as you sit in the dunking tube.
As the fan base says, we're the villains again. Life is good.
I guess so. All right.
So this is the Hall of Fame segment. And mainly we're going to talk about if Bill Belichick was snubbed or not. But leading in, I gave Larry Kelly a little bit of a homework assignment. I told him to write down or type whatever he wants to do. These figures here, not figures, but categories. So player A, Larry.
Go ahead.
116 games. Receptions, 336. Yards receiving, 5,462. Touchdowns, 51. And his season high was 11. Okay, that was a 9-year career for individual A. Individual B, a little bit more advanced here in terms of numbers, 208 games. Receptions, 579. Yards receiving, 10,372. He had 3 1,000-yard seasons. Touchdowns, 76, including 13 was his career high, which led the league that year.
How many seasons?
He played 16. But the one thing that they have going for each other in terms of everything's equal. In terms of, you remember the 14-game seasons, and then it evolved into a 16-game season. They both experienced the same amount in terms of, you can't say, well, one guy played 16-game years and the other guy played 12 and then 14. We're talking everything's equal in terms of season length. So while you're, chewing on those numbers and thinking if either one is a Hall of Famer or not, Larry Kelly, Bill Belichick, a couple weeks ago received word that he was not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. 39 votes were received by Bill Belichick out of the 50 total. You have to have 40 to get yourself in. So Bill Belichick was not a first ballot Hall of Famer. And as you know from watching any news conference that he has, he more or less mumbled, isn't 6 Super Bowl wins a equivalent to a Hall of Famer. Now he won two others as a defensive coordinator with the Giants, and his other comment was, well, "What the hell do I have to do to get into the Hall of Fame?" So
No, I mean, that was politics. He's not a likable guy. And hence, there were people who voted against him, and they were looking for a reason. And the reason might have been Spygate or Deflategate. But look, people have been stealing signs. I played baseball. If you weren't playing in the game, your job was to watch the third base coach and see if you can steal signs. Deflategate, really? I mean, the ball was 2 pounds less so you can grip it better. I mean, come on, man. That was pure politics. That's all that was. And you're right. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. And I'm not a Bill Belichick fan. I respect him and I respect his genius, but I'm a Steeler fan, not a New England Patriot fan.
now I'm going to read something. It was from ESPN's website when they announced that Robert Kraft also today on Tuesday is not getting in. And I read this over to Pete Sirianni before we went on the air. And I don't know how to take this because it says the 50 voters each picked 3 of the 5 finalists for, contributors or the veterans. And the guys that they were picking from, in addition to Kraft and Belichick, the 3 players were Roger Craig, former running back for San Francisco, and I believe he played somewhere else too, maybe the Raiders, but I definitely know the 49ers. Kenny Anderson, great quarterback for the Bengals, which I'm surprised he hasn't got in, years ago. And I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that they just didn't have the postseason success, but in any event, he hasn't got in. And the other guy that's up for it is L.C. Greenwood, who was a Super Bowl champion multiple times with the Steelers.
Times 4.
Right. Right. So now you have the 50 voters. They each pick 3 of the 5 finalists, and between one of the 3 make it if they get at least 40 votes. Well, we know for a fact from what we heard, Belichick got 39. If no candidate gets 40 votes, remember, if no candidate gets 40 votes, the top vote getter will be elected. So what happens if Belichick got 39 and Kraft got 37 and Kenny Anderson got 32 and Roger Craig got 25 and L.C. Greenwood got 20? The way I'm interpreting it is, okay, well, Belichick got 39. Isn't he a Hall of Famer?
Well, yeah. I mean, according to what you're saying, if indeed nobody gets 40, then in that event, he gets in.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
That's the way it's written. But
yeah.
Here's the thing. They announce it on Thursday at the Pro Football Honors show where they announce MVP and all that other sort of stuff. So maybe somebody has been clued in on who did get those required 40 votes, but for Kraft and Belichick, neither one of them did.
Listen, it doesn't bother me that Kraft didn't get in. Come on, man. He owns the damn team. I don't. He doesn't play the same role that a coach, a GM, and the players play. So the fact that he doesn't get in doesn't bother me. But it does bother me that Belichick didn't get in. The cat was the real deal. I mean, I don't care. Look, he had Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time. Don't get me wrong. But, the old saying is good coaches win with good players. Bad coaches, they lose with good players. Belichick won with good players, and he did it the right way.
It doesn't bother me too much that Kraft did not get in, but when you start to say, okay, Jerry Jones is a Hall of Famer, and he's won 3 Super Bowls, and Kraft has a shot on Sunday to be an owner of a team that's won 7 Super Bowls. At some point, you got to wonder what's going on here.
Politics too, I'm sure, but no owner should be in. Why should an owner be in the Hall of Fame? What did you do other than owning the team? I mean, what? Do you get credit for picking the right coach?
Are the Rooneys in the Hall of Fame? Any of them?
Dan Rooney may be in. I'm not certain about that.
Art Rooney?
No. I don't know that. Yeah. I don't know that. But, if Dan Rooney's in, there's a reason. The Rooney Rule. He opened up opportunities for minorities in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Before the Rooney Rule came around, there weren't many minority coaches serving as head coaches or GMs. He provided opportunity. in my view, that's what a Hall of Famer does.
Okay. Homework assignment is over. Time for the teacher to collect his homework. Like the commercial would say, Larry Kelly, you make the call.
All right, listen, I did the analysis here. Basically, each one of these players averaged about 3 receptions per game. Each one of them averaged about 50 yards per game. And each one of them averaged less than a half a touchdown a game. So I'm not so sure either of them are Hall of Famers.
Neither one are Hall of Famers.
Am I right?
Okay. Player B.
Now, which one was that? Was that the 208 or the 116?
Yeah, player B is the second guy I gave you. 208 games
Yeah.
played.
Who is it?
579 receptions, 10,372 receiving yards, 76 touchdowns. That player played from 1968 through 1983.
Different game now, too. They weren't throwing the ball around in 68 and 70 and 75 like they are today. But go ahead.
He was a deep threat, played for multiple teams, played for the Patriots for 4 years, 78 through 81. Harold Jackson. Remember Harold Jackson?
I do. And Harold Jackson doesn't to hear the name, I'd say he's not a Hall of Famer. But
okay. And
is he?
I mean, you look at his numbers and you kind of wonder and how he's not even up for anything. But apparently, and I didn't know this, he was voted to the Pro Football Hall of Very Good. And I didn't even realize there was.
Yeah, I mean, he averaged 3 receptions a game, Ronnie. I mean, come on. Go ahead. Who's the other guy?
All right. Player B.
He had the same average as player A. He certainly did. Go ahead.
Player A, 116 games, 336 receptions, 5,462 yards, 51 touchdowns. He played from 1974 through 1982, a span of 9 years. Larry Kelly has said that neither one of these guys are Hall of Famers.
Nah, well, the other one's Lynn Swann. As soon as you said 9 years. But Lynn Swann probably had the greatest game a wide receiver could have had in a Super Bowl. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame. And his catches were, Ronnie, they were acrobatic. It wasn't the number of catches. It was the quality of catches that he made that made him different. I can just tell you that. I mean, he passes the eye test.
And it kind of goes hand in hand because you said he made big catches on the grandest of stages. He won 4 Super Bowls, appeared in 4 Super Bowls. Harold Jackson did not appear in any Super Bowl. He rung up a lot of numbers, but that's the thing. You're comparing apples to, I don't even think apples to apples. It's apples to oranges.
From a pure statistical standpoint, and I love Joe Namath. I was a big fan. He probably doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame from a pure statistical standpoint, but played maybe the most important single game in NFL history as the quarterback for the New York Jets and had his biggest game. So, when you do it in the biggest games in front of the biggest audiences, I mean, look, I don't remember Harold Jackson making any catches like Lynn Swann, buddy. Listen, I mean, Lynn Swann, he was a magician, a ballerina, literally and figuratively, a ballerina on the football field.
Yeah, so, Harold Jackson was a deep threat. And here's the other thing. When I mentioned 3 1,000-yard seasons, everybody wets their pants over 1,000-yard seasons. The game has evolved from 12 games to 14 games to 16 games, now to 17 games, and the league wants to make it 18. And I heard a report tonight that the players are absolutely against 18 games, and I don't blame them. They're putting their bodies at risk while the owners get to sit in the box and kick back like this. Here's the thing with 1,000-yard seasons, that's 50-some yards a game. So if I was to tell you, hey, Larry, DK Metcalf caught 3 passes for 53 yards. Was that a good game? And if you said no, because he only had 53 receiving yards, multiply it by 17. You can't legitimately look me in the eye and say, hey, Ronnie, my man, he had 1,000 yards. Pick a street. you can't go gaga for 1,000 and say he had a horrible game at 53.
No, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I mean, these statistics, when you look at them, are substantially identical. 3 receptions a game, 50 yards a game. Lynn Swann had a few. His touchdown ratio was a little higher. But when you talk about the eye test and you talk about the catches that Lynn Swann made in his career and the catches he made in Super Bowl probably 10, maybe the greatest single receiving performance. If it was outdone, it would have been only outdone by John Stallworth in the 1980 Super Bowl against the Rams, where he made about 3 or 4 magnificent catches. But
Right.
that's why Lynn Swann's in. That's why Joe Namath is in. You'll hear people say it. Statistically, Joe Namath doesn't belong there. But he played the most important game at the quarterback position in the history of the NFL, played magnificently, and won it.
Yeah, and that's what bothers me about fans. You have there's a left and a right in terms of Joe Namath. Same with like Pete Rose, a left and a right. Some say no, some say yes. I think Joe Namath belongs in the Hall of Fame, and I don't care what his numbers were at Super Bowl III is all you need to know. I guarantee you we're going to beat the Baltimore Colts. Not only that, but the merger. We got the AFL and NFL combined. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame. It's not so much even for playing games and stats and stuff. It's what he did for pro football. That's why he's in the.
And listen, his statistics weren't bad. He's the first quarterback in the history of the NFL to throw for 4,000 yards in a season. Yeah. Back at a time when nobody threw for 4,000 yards. So, I mean, and I'm a fan. Listen, he's a Beaver Falls guy. My cousin was a personal friend of his. I played golf with Joe Namath, so. Listen, I'm a Joe Namath fan, but there are some people who say statistically he doesn't belong there. But I'm with you. And that's why Lynn Swann's there. On the biggest stage, they were the greatest. And people have a hard time forgetting that. Now, Joe Namath was not a first ballot Hall of Famer. And he got in on the second ballot. And I'm not so sure Lynn Swann was a first ballot Hall of Famer. We'd have to look that up. I don't know that.
Yeah, I have no issue with Lynn Swann being a Hall of Famer, but I think at some point you have to start looking at people that are over 10,000 yards rushing, receiving, what have you. Now, certainly that's out the window now the more we add games. Now that we're up to 17, if we add 18.
Oh, yeah, the guy used to rush for 1,000 yards in 12 games is completely different than the guy that does it in 16 or 17.
Exactly.
So it doesn't have the same meaning as it once did. Lynn Swann was not a first ballot Hall of Famer. He was not a first ballot Hall of Famer. And he got in his 14th year of eligibility.
Wow.
So that's according to AI here. So, but yeah, I mean, Belichick, politics, purely politics. Craft, I don't care. Owners, really, Hall of Famers? Why? Because they got a lot of money? Does that make them a Hall of Famer? I don't think that hall doesn't belong to owners of football teams, rich guys. It just doesn't. It belongs to the players. It belongs to the general managers and the coaches. That's who, in my view, it belongs to.
Okay, that is our Hall of Fame discussion for the Pro Football National Football League and Pro Football Hall of Fame. Don't go anywhere. As we wrap things up, we will tell you all you need to know about Super Bowl 60 and the participants, the Seattle Seahawks against the New England Patriots. Don't go away. Okay.
You're going to get mad at me. I think the Seahawks are winning. Drake May hasn't been great in a lot of times, and they haven't done a very good job of protecting him in the pocket, getting sacked a lot. But listen, Sam Darnold is the wild card. If he does what he's done in the last 2 playoff games, Seattle's winning. But he's capable of laying an egg.
Yep. Well, everybody.
What's the line? It was 4 points. Seattle was a 4-point favorite at one point.
4.5.
Is that what they are?
Yeah, it's still 4.5. Yeah. So, Yeah. Everybody, ESPN, it was 100%. They all said Seattle. No matter what outlet you're looking at, they're picking Seattle. So yeah.
Darnold's the wild card, though. He could lay an egg. He's done it
Mm-hmm.
before. And if he does, it's going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be high scoring.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm good when you're good.
All right.
Waiting for that to come. All right. In 3, 2, and 1. So we're back with you here on Good Guy, Bad Guy Sports. Ron Poniewasz joined by Larry Kelly, and this is our Super Bowl 60 preview. Larry, the Seattle Seahawks advanced with a narrow win over the Los Angeles Rams, and the New England Patriots got by the Denver Broncos 10-7. Before we get too far, now that I mentioned New England Patriots and Denver Broncos, there have been a lot of people, and they're on many different outlets. Should conference championship games be played at neutral sites? And I'm not just saying this because New England won, and I'm fine with that. I think it's ridiculous that conference championship games be moved to a neutral site for the sole purpose of what the hell's the purpose of getting home field advantage? Why are you busting your rear end for home field advantage if you're just going to be told, "Hey, go play in a dome somewhere"?
No, I'm with you on that. Yeah, that football's meant to be played in the elements, and the elements certainly played a major factor in the Denver New England game. But hey, it is what it is. When I was working at the Newcastle News, I covered the game that the Steelers played in '79 against the Houston Oilers when it was freezing rain and the field was a quagmire. And I mean, hey, it is what it is. You have to be able to play. I agree with that because, my partner, Joe George, when the Steelers went on their Super Bowl run in '95, I don't know, when they won 4 road games in a row. I'm sorry, '05. The atmosphere at the Super Bowl is completely different than the atmosphere at a home stadium. The Steelers played in Cincinnati, then they played in Indianapolis, and they played in Denver. And my partner Joe said, "Look, those were great games, great atmospheres." And then he went to the Super Bowl, and it was like a snooze fest because half of the seats are corporate seats, and they really don't have a rooting interest one way or the other. So, yeah, I'm with you, Ronnie. I don't agree with you often because most of the time you're wrong. But, yeah, these games should be played at the field of the team that's the highest seed. That's the advantage you get for having the best record in the league.
Seattle Seahawks bring a vaunted defense into this Super Bowl. Their offense is led by Sam Darnold and Kenneth Walker, the third running back, Jackson Smith and Jigba, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. They have playmakers all over the field. But New England, they have a hell of a defense too. They're great at stopping the run. Drake May, who when he was drafted by New England, and a lot of people will probably remember this, I hated that pick. I didn't think he would be very good, and he's grown on me. I'm actually.
Yeah, how do you like him now?
Yeah, I like.
Can you admit you were wrong again? You were wrong again, Ronnie. You've been wrong a lot, but now that you're admitting it, you'll become a better man because of that.
Yeah, I was wrong, at least so far. Through 2 years. Yeah, now last year he started, I believe it was either 10 games or 11 games, and he won one of those games. So he didn't do very well. But this year he's made great throws, led him to wins. And a lot of people will say, well, they played a terrible schedule. Here's the deal: a pro football schedule, take it over here. Here's a college football schedule. College, you can play anybody you want. Ask Notre Dame. Let's play Talladega Tech. Let's play Navy. Let's play Air Force.
Man, you're lucky there's not a chat part of this because all the Notre Dame fans in Lawrence County would be buzzing you up right now. But go ahead.
I'm here.
Go ahead. Yeah, come and get me. Right. No, but you're right. Listen, NFL's the NFL. Anybody can beat anybody. There are no cupcakes. There just aren't. And look, I like this Kenneth Walker the third, man. This cat is, I had no idea who he was until I watched these last couple playoff games. He's good. But I think the wild card is Sam Darnold. Look, he's played great in the last two playoff games, but he's capable of laying an egg, as he's done in the past. And if he lays an egg, then I like New England's chances. But, I mean, on paper, there's a reason that Seattle's a 4.5-point favorite. Now, New England got to do a better job of protecting Drake May. I mean, he hasn't played real great in these playoff games, but the poor guy's getting killed back there. Vrabel better keep a tight end in to chip people. He better do something a little different because you got to give his kid some time. And if he does, this guy can sling it. I like Drake May. He's the real deal.
I'm just wondering about the New England offensive line. Naturally, in the offseason, they're going to have to upgrade the offensive line even more. They did that in the offseason, and they're going to probably have to do that the same thing with receivers. But in terms of the offensive line, they drafted Will Campbell with the, I believe, number 3 pick last year in the draft. And a lot of people said, well, his arms aren't as long as they need to be, and this and that. And he's played very well. However, the thing is, he got hurt late in the year, and he was on 4-week injured reserve. And when he came back, I don't know, is he 100%? Because he seems like he's getting beat possibly multiple times a game. So is he 100%? I don't know.
Nobody's 100% this time of year, I think, Ronnie. And about short arms, they said the same thing about Aaron Donald. How'd he do in the NFL? You know what I mean? Again, they're going to have to protect Drake May because Seattle, they can bring it. And, you got to give this guy a little time. They're going to have to be able to run the ball. It oftentimes comes down to turnovers, right? When the Steelers beat New England turned the ball over 6 times, twice inside the 5, I think. So you can't turn it over. You got to protect the quarterback. There's no magic to this. And I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. What's the over and under in the game?
It's high. It's like 46.5. It just went away. 45.5.
Is that high? Is it high? 45.5?
I would know. For me, I would take the under. A lot of people are saying they're taking the over. I'm taking the under, and I'm also taking the New England to win, and I'm taking the points. You said you're taking Seattle to win.
I think they're a little better. I just do. But Sam Darnold's the wild card.
Mm-hmm.
He's capable of laying an egg, and if he lays an egg, I like New England's chances.
Yeah.
But if he plays, the game he played against the Rams, he looked like Joe Namath in the Super Bowl. My man looked good. And Smith Najigma, that cat did I get that right?
It's easy for you to say. Smith and Jigba.
Smith and Jigma. That cat's the real deal. He's tough. And this Kenneth Walker III, like I said, I was really impressed by him, and their defense is good. But, listen, New England's there. They deserve to be there. They play defense. So that's why I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. If they play defense, and if Darnold turns it over a few times, New England can win this game.
I know a lot of people are saying, well, you're a homer. You're taking your team to win and this and that.
Well, you are. You are a homer. Let's get that right out on the table.
I'm as objective as they come. You can ask Bob Natal. When he was a junior varsity coach for the Newcastle boys, he would come over to the stores table, and he obviously would see me wearing this or what have you. How's your bleeping Patriots going to do this week? And I would always tell him, I don't know. They might lose this week. He would tell me, you never think your team's going to win. Well, here's the thing. The reason I'm picking New England is, and you hit on it, Sam Darnold. About, 8 years ago or so, when Belichick was the coach, New England beat him really bad. Darnold was with the Jets, and Darnold had that famous quote, "I'm seeing ghosts out there." I have a feeling that Vrabel's going to dial something up, because when they beat the Texans, there was one of the Texans players went up to a Patriots guy after the game and says, "We had no idea what you guys were doing defensively the entire game."
Well, they played good defense, and they made that quarterback from Houston look like a Pop Warner player. He was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Sam Darnold's capable of being that bad, but he's capable of laying an egg. And you can't lay an egg in a Super Bowl and win.
Right.
He can't turn it over. I think for New England to win, they're going to have to force 2 or 3 turnovers. I do. Because just offensively, they haven't been a powerhouse here against Houston or against Denver, but they're capable of scoring. So I like your chances, but if I was betting money, I'd probably bet. But I would listen. I'd take the points. I think 4.5 points is a lot of points. I can see a 2017 game here, 24-21. I really can. I can see that. But if I was betting the money line, I'm probably betting Seattle.
Right. Yeah, I'm taking New England, just not so much because I'm a fan. I think that Darnold has at least 2 turnovers. I'm betting the fact that New England will clean things up and won't have any turnovers. I think that's probably in a perfect case scenario. That's how they win.
Well, let me tell you, here's what you should do. You should bet Seattle with on the money line just to like cover your bet. That way, if New England does lose, you got some money coming back to ease your pain a little bit. Don't bet them on the points because you could lose both ways. Then you don't want to do that. But take Seattle on the money line. That way, if they win the game, at least you get a little cash coming back to ease your pain.
Yeah, I might be asking you for a job somehow too. I might need a little bit of extra income.
I know you like to bet.
Yeah, well, I've blown about a half a paycheck on merchandise and souvenirs and stuff, so and I'm not done yet.
But listen, I like your gear, man. It's a lot better than what you've been wearing, man. You were wearing stuff from 15 years ago. You're looking fly, brother.
This is Super Bowl 51. This is when they beat the Falcons. That's how far. The Fanatics is. They won't send out the stuff till after the Super Bowl. It's like, what good does that do me?
Yeah. Well, I'll be rooting for you, brother. I am rooting for New England, so I hope they win.
No,
so we'll have something to talk about.
You're an AFC guy, that.
Well, I'm an AFC guy, yeah. And then I could say, well, we the Steelers beat the Super Bowl champs. I could take some solace in that.
There you go. That's right. All right, Larry. Maybe next week we will talk about the Steelers and hiring Mike McCarthy. Will Aaron Rodgers come back? We'll tease it a little bit that way, and we'll talk about that and probably a Super Bowl recap. How's that sound?
Sounds like a plan, brother.
All right. That's his Good Guy, Bad Guy Sports. He's Larry Kelly. I am Ron Poniewasz. We appreciate you joining us. And you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you think we are, that's where we are.
All right. Sounds good, my man. See you next week.
See you next week, everybody.
We all know there's an advantage to being the home team, to playing at home. And at LGKG, we have been your home team for over 90 years.
We're more than just a law firm. We're your friends, your neighbors, an advocate when life takes an unexpected turn.
We're not just lawyers that practice law. We live in this community, just like you.
When you need us most, we're at our best.